Damien ruins horror movies. All right, I'm finally back. It's been a little bit. There's been some gaps between episodes. I know. I'm finally completely moved. So now, no more excuses. I'm not busy doing other things now. And I'm still working on this little setup here. So the video is going to look a little different from week to week because I'm trying to figure out what the best little vantage point is. Tonight is a little classic by Clive Barker, famous author. Some say better than Stephen King. I have never read a Clive Barker book, so I don't know. Tonight is a special request from Aisha out of Vancouver, Washington. Small world, that's where I live. And this is the 1990 film, Nightbreed. Kind of think that either you like Clive Barker or you don't. And I think I lean more to the latter category. Because, I don't know, there's a disconnect for me for some reason. Other than he has a cool name. And he has like a lot of that dark, like he has a cool look to all of his stuff. But his movies really are. It's not that they're bad. I think they're overrated a little bit though. And they have really cool covers. They look awesome and you watch them and they're just like, they're kind of like Phantasm in that way, where it's like after you watch the movie, for me at least, after I finish a Clive Barker movie, afterwards I have no memory. It's like that dream thing where it's like, I don't remember, like what happened in that movie? It's like, I don't know. I had to watch this movie like a couple times. It's the director's cut, so it's like 2 hours. And I like 90-minute movies personally. So, especially after an hour of this movie, I was like, okay, I'm halfway through. I don't feel like we need another hour. I think you could probably wrap this up in 30 more minutes. Another hour is unnecessary. And granted, the director's cut is only, I think it's only like 15 minutes longer than the original, but still. It wasn't bad. It came out in 1990, and had I watched it around then, because I started high school in 1990, had I watched it coupled with movies coming out around that time, I would have probably enjoyed it. But watching it now is kind of, because this is the first time I ever watched this movie. I know, poser, but I'd never watched this movie. And it's one of those movies where I've seen the cover a million times and thought, oh, I wonder what that's all about. I should watch that. I've just never got around to watching it until now. And I blame Aisha. So, why don't we just jump right in? The story is of Aaron. Aaron. Aaron has these bad dreams every night. He dreams he's going to like this underground world full of monsters, and they're kind of, in the beginning, they're kind of chasing him around, and he's running, and he wakes up in a panic sweat alone with his girlfriend, Lori. Finds it's all a dream. It's one of those recurring dreams. What does it mean? Does it mean anything? Is he crazy? And the guy that plays old Aaron kind of looks like a cross between Mallory's boyfriend Nick from Family Ties and Angel from, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like if those two guys had a kid, it would look like this guy. And he's got the white t-shirt and leather jacket. Like that was the rebel look in like from 1985 to 1990. He was wearing a white t-shirt and jeans. And then having a leather jacket. Not owning a motorcycle or anything, but wearing the motorcycle jacket anyway. That was a sign where this guy's bad news. This guy's a rebel. You can just tell that, you give that guy a rule, he'll break it. He's that guy. So Lori suggests that they take a little vacay, but at the same time, Dr. Decker has started calling. And Dr. Decker he's Aaron's like psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever. I'm not even sure why he has one, but he has a guy that he talks to, but he hasn't talked to him in like 4 months. Suddenly Dr. Decker's calling him out of the blue, So it's like, well, we could go on vacation, but I gotta kind of see, she's like, you know, typical girlfriend where it's like, you know, guys want to ignore doctors and stuff that's good for you, and the girlfriend's always there to be like, well, you need to go. Like, the last thing you want is your girlfriend to figure out that there's something medical going on with you, because she'll make you take care of it. Shortly after, he has like a flashback. I don't remember if it was like he went to, I don't know, it's just this flashback, and it's his parents getting killed by this masked man, and he's like upstairs on the banister watching the whole thing. I think the masked man even saw him and was like, and just took off. And then that ends. So I don't know if he's seeing a psychiatrist because of that, because that would make sense. Also, I don't even know how old he's supposed to be now. He looked to be, he was like a little 8-year-old fat kid when his parents got killed. Probably like 10. Aaron goes and visits Dr. Decker. And yes, I will be calling him Aaron the whole movie, unless I forget. Occasionally I will refer to him as Aaron. 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 He visits the doctor. Dr. Decker. Dr. Decker talks to him and prescribes him pills. And Dr. Decker thinks, one way or another, because I'm kind of wondering, it's like, what if there's some kind of weird plot twist? What if Aaron killed his own parents? But Dr. Decker's like, has this tape. It's basically like Aaron confessing to the murder, not of his parents, of 6 families in like a 10-month period. He basically has the confession. So he prescribes him some pills and says, you need to go to the cops. If you don't, I will. So you got 24 hours. And that's why he's been trying to get in touch with Aaron. But for some reason, he's waited 4 months. I don't know why he's waited 4 months to do this. It's like, that's all his conscience could take. He's like, you know, the first 3.5 months, I was like, yeah, maybe you did it, maybe you didn't. If you did, you'll do the right thing. But after like 4 months, I was like, you know what? No, I got to give you that push, because you're just never gonna do the right thing, are you? You fucking killer. Aaron goes home, strips down to his underwear, and like starts lighting all his shit on fire. He doesn't like burn his apartment down or anything, but he just like starts burning. So I don't know if he's like, it's not really clear what he's burning. It's not necessarily evidence. It's like he's just destroying the past. And he doesn't burn. I don't know why I don't know why he's doing any of this. But then he hops in the shower and he goes to the club and he watches his girlfriend sing a song. It's kind of a cool song. And then he bails. He doesn't even talk to her or anything. He like just kind of walks in with perfect timing, because I don't know how many songs she sang. He only stuck around for one, it looked like, and he was like, yeah, that's my girl. Oh, look at the time, I gotta go. And he doesn't say anything, but then his pills start kicking in as he's leaving, and he gets hit by a truck. And he wakes up in the hospital. The doctor does like his little toxicology test, and he's like, those pills that was not lithium. That was a hallucinogen. I don't know if they were trying to say it was like LSD or what, but he's like, that was a hallucinogen. You were having what we call a bad trip. Doctor leaves. Aaron's sitting in his little room, and he can hear his little cellmate that he hasn't met yet. He can hear him talking about Midian. Oh, and I didn't mention that when Aaron was talking to Dr. Decker, he mentioned Midian and that secret world that he has dreams about, and Dr. Decker's like, oh yeah, tell me another one. So now he hears another person in the room next to him, and he's been hallucinating, so he doesn't know if this person's real or not. And that's one thing this movie does do kind of well, is it does have this surrealness to it. And I can't really place what's surreal about it, but there's something about it where you're just like, it's like the way things happen. You're like, did that really just happen? Did you imagine that? But there's this dude next door who's like talking about Midian. Aaron's like, what do you know about Midian? And Narcissi, that's the guy's name. He's kind of like the Reggie Bannister of this film. Only not as much of a main character. But he's like, well, that's where the monsters go. And Aaron's like, okay, sounds like you know shit. Starts like trying to pry information out of him. Then all of a sudden, like, Narcissi kind of flips the script on him. He's like, starts asking him questions about Midian, like, maybe you can take me there. And Aaron's like, wait. I don't know how confused Aaron was, but I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, you're the expert. And now suddenly you think he's the expert? He's like, how can I get there? I can prove myself. And Narcissi, however you pronounce his name, I don't remember anybody actually saying his name. I looked him up on IMDb. But he's like, I know if I show my real face, I don't know where he pulled this out of, but I'll show my real face and then you'll accept me. And he like, because he has these weird blades on his hands, and he like starts just cutting, like he's going to cut his face off to reveal his real face. But instead he kind of like just scalps himself and then like cuts where like his sideburns would be. So he's got no skin on his head except for his little face. I'll put a picture up. And I'm like, well, you kind of did the opposite of cutting your face off, bro. But oh well, I still don't know where it is. I was asking you, not the other way around. He might have done that for nothing. You know, maybe maybe get a little more information before you start like self-mutilating. Just a thought. Dr. Decker shows up, so Aaron gets the fuck out of there. Oh, see, I called him Aaron. Gets the fuck out of there. He gets in a truck. I don't know whose truck it is, where he got the truck. I mean, it's stolen. Nobody reported it, so it's all good. And he drives to an old cemetery. So he goes in under the cemetery where he meets the monsters. But the monsters are they're not into him at all. They're just like, what are you doing here? You're an outsider. We don't want you. We don't know you. We don't want to know you. You need to just get out of here. And so he's like, all right. Because all they really want to do is eat him, which is weird. They have this cannibal aspect to them, which is there's not a lot of light put on that, but there's kind of this weird, like, are they cannibals? They eat people? Because them being cannibals kind of makes them seem bad, but the movie is kind of like making them different, but not necessarily evil. Like, so far they have no agenda. They just live under the cemetery. And Aaron goes in and wants to be one of them. Or just wants some answers, because he's been guided here by a dream. And they're like, no, don't know you. Sorry. Not part of any prophecy I've ever heard of. Yeah. Hit the bricks, or we're going to eat you. Bye, Aaron. But when Aaron gets out there, the cops are out there, along with Dr. Decker. Dr. Decker's there with full backup. He's in full effect. And the cops are there waiting, and they got their guns drawn. And Aaron's just like, uh-oh, kind of surprised. And Dr. Decker yells, he's got a gun! And they open fire. They all just mow him down, which is weird. Because he didn't have a gun. The cops shot an unarmed man? I don't believe that. A coffee break during Aaron's autopsy leads to his escape. He gets up. Oh, I didn't mention, one of those monster things bit him. That's kind of important. Because, you know, he did get shot several times. So he escapes when they take a coffee break. And when Decker finds out, he's pissed. But the captain's like, he didn't just get up and walk away. I think somebody stole his corpse. And Decker's like, why? Who? How? No. Meanwhile, Lori's out there. She's convinced, I don't know what she knows. She just thinks he's out there somewhere. I don't think she got any kind of warning or notice. It's not really clear. But she goes to the bar and gets drunk and meets this chick named Cheryline. And they talk and get hammered, and she kind of roughly tells Cheryline about it. And so Cheryline's like, well, shit, I'll go help you find Midian tomorrow in the morning. So she's like, all right, sounds good. And they go their separate ways. After Aaron has escaped the hospital, he goes back to the cemetery, and somehow now they accept him. I don't know, maybe because they're like, well, shit, the cops shot at you. The cops don't like you. They don't like us. Now you're one of us. Welcome to the club. Aaron. Laurie and Caroline go to Midian, and they effortlessly find the cemetery. It's like, all right, we're here. And then like another car pulls up, and it's the dude Caroline met last night after like they separated. I think Caroline stayed a little longer or something. So Caroline hooked up with this dude, and he pulls up, and it is Dr. Decker. Dun dun dun! And they meet, and it's like, how did you find us? How did you meet up? How did you meet us at a place we didn't even know where we were going? Like, they knew where they were going, but they didn't know where it was. So they're exploring. Was he just following him the whole time? That's kind of weird and creepy. Laurie separates from Decker and Caroline. She goes and explores, and she like finds this little kid mutant monster thing, and like gives it to she meets some monsters. And then she goes back to where the cars are, and instead of finding Caroline, she finds like blood splattered on the windows, and she finds Caroline's corpse. And she runs into the masked character that killed Aaron's parents in the flashback sequence. And so she kind of freaks out, and he tries to kill her because he's already killed Caroline. And the masked man takes his mask off. It's Dr. Decker. It's been Dr. Decker the whole time. Dr. Decker killed Aaron's parents, and now, based on that new knowledge, it seems like maybe Aaron is innocent. Well, probably he's innocent. Dr. Decker's just running around fucking with him, trying to fuck him over and frame him for all this shit. Laurie takes off running. Dr. Decker chases her, and somehow Aaron knows that she's in trouble and that she's there and that he needs to save her. His new mutant monster friends are like, nope, can't do that. If you want to be one of us, you have to forget about them, because we're the Nightbreed. So those people don't mean anything to us. Down here is where it's at. And you can't go up there because you got to worry about sunlight. Sunlight will fucking kill you. And he's like, no, I got to go save her. And he starts to walk, and they kind of grab him. They're like, no, you're not going anywhere. Seriously, sit down. That life is over. You're dead now. So he fights his way out of there. He takes out like two guys. Doesn't kill them or anything, but he's like, there's a struggle. He escapes, and he goes and finds Laurie and finds Decker. And Decker's got like a machete and like runs him through, like stabs him in the back. Like literally this time, not just figuratively, like he's been doing since the day they met. But Aaron's kind of like, well, you know what? I've been shot several times. I got bit by that dude. I'm pretty fucking immortal right now. Your stupid little machete's not gonna do anything. Laurie gets out of there, and Narcissisty shows up, and Narcissisty's like, good old Decker, because Decker fucked with him too. And Narcissisty's like, I just want his eyeballs and his balls. That's kind of a weird thing to say. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, but it's like, what are you doing, balls? Decker manages to escape with his eyeballs and his testicles intact, and he drives off to a nearby auto shop, and the old man working there, the attendant, this is another old man auto shop harbinger of death, kind of watered down version though, because like Decker is the bad guy. So he uses the payphone to call his assistant and says, hey man, because Midian is, that's another important thing, because Midian is an actual place. It's not like some secret world. It sounds like a secret world. It's like that's the name of the town, and then under the cemetery is like the Midian, the dream world. So I guess it wasn't that weird that Laurie found it, because she knew that she had to go to, like, how she knew to go directly to the cemetery, I'm not sure if they explained that or not, but No, it's not some like fantasy land. So after he calls for the police to get there, the auto guy, the harbinger, kind of harbinger, you know, gas attendant, it's like, no, you just having them come down here. They can't get in. It's a waste of time. Decker's a total dick and chops the guy's dog's head off. And then he like ties him up. Because he wants some answers. Tell me about Midian. He wants to know what this old guy knows about these monsters. Like, how do you kill them? But it turns out, like, other than the sun, they all have different ways of dying. Because for the most part, the sun apparently will kill all of them. That's why they live underground. But if they don't go in the sun, is there another way to kill them? And there is, but each monster's different. Each one varies. And so, like, stabbing Aaron didn't kill or hurt him, but it could kill another one. Who knows? But apparently, because Decker is a hero, because he knows these monsters are bad, and he knows that they will happen regardless of what they do, because they're monsters. They look like monsters, so he's made it his job to not only try to find them and kill them, but to know who will become monsters later, and then kill them before they become those monsters, which is weird because he goes and kills Aaron's parents, but he doesn't kill Aaron. I was like, well, did you think the parents were going to have more kids? Were the parents going to become monsters? Because you skipped the dude, and it kind of feels like entrapment. It kind of feels like you made old Aaron do all this shit. Like, you put all the ideas in his head to make him have these dreams, to make him think that he killed all those people, to make him run to that fucking cemetery. You're not a hero, but that's what these kind of people do, is they make up their own scenarios, and they decide who's bad, and they label them as bad without necessarily any proof, but it's not what they believe in. And suddenly they're heroes for stopping them, and nobody is opposed to them killing people that have been deemed bad. You see where I'm going with that? It's not about the movie at that point. Laurie wakes up in a casket, and she's talking to who I think is Caroline, because since she died right out of there, she is now, I don't know, she's somehow, I'm pretty sure it's her, it might not be, but she's down there. She kind of rescued Laurie, and so now she's like, hey, you're down here now. She explains, which is funny because if it is her, it's like, okay, you've been part of Midian for what, a couple hours, and now all of a sudden you know everything. But she explains that they're a group of shapeshifters and freaks. They live underground because the people above want to destroy what they envy, and they can't live. First of all, because the sun will kill them, but second of all, people will want to kill them because they're different. So they live underneath. And Aaron is still alive because he got bit, and the bite gave him pretty much immortality. I think certain things, I mean, other than the sun and a few things can kill him, but for the most part, you know, bullets and machetes have no effect on him. Baphomet is this big thing, like demon, Satan looking thing, and he made Midian for all these freaks to live at. Yeah, Laurie goes out and searches for Aaron. She looks all over, and she walks from, like, it's this weird sequence. It feels like the haunted house I went to last December, where it's like you keep going through these different doors and there's different stuff in the room. Except in this film, there's like different monsters, because none of the monsters are quite the same. And the special effects, it kind of looks like in Total Recall, which is an awesome movie. And this movie totally made me want to go watch Total Recall again, because the effects, like all the creatures, all the people on Mars, it looks like the same special effects guy. I looked up a little bit to see if it was or not, but I couldn't find. There's like 13 different special effects people on this, so I looked at like two. I was like, I'm not gonna look all of them up because I was getting ready to record. But it's got that look, and it's around the same time. I think it's, shit, was that the same year? Or was it Total Recall 91? I don't know. But it's got that same look. And each room she goes into, and she goes and goes until finally she finds Aaron. They get out of there, and they go back to the motel. I don't know if she took them all the way back to the motel that, like, because she was at a bar, then she slept in a motel. So I'm thinking it's the same motel. Somehow, and that would make sense if her and Caroline both did, because Decker's one step ahead of them. He gets to the motel. Before they get there, he kills the hotel clerk lady who's eating something disgusting and drops on the floor. And it's such a weird, like, the sequence of her trying to clean it up is so weird. But he chops her head off. And Aaron and Lori kind of just get in and go up to the room. At first they walk in because they don't see that anything's wrong. But he's like, I smell blood. And Lori's like, no you don't. And they go up in the room. I'm like, all right, we're going to hide out in here. I don't know if it's like late. It's like, oh, we're going to go to sleep. And then in the morning, we're going to make a run for it. We're safe here. And then there's like a hole in the wall of their room. And so Aaron's like, I smell blood. And he looks through the wall. And apparently, Decker has killed more than just the lady working at the front desk. Because there's like 3 dudes in there. And they're slaughtered. Well, because he looks through and then he goes into the room. And then the cops get there because once again, Decker is trying to fucking frame him. Because he can't just like have a standoff with him and kill him like he should have done in the first place. I don't know. It's like, it's a weird frame job where it's like he doesn't seem like he's that into killing people. He just likes fucking Aaron over for whatever reason. It's like, why are you bent on ruining this guy's life? You've been fucking him over since he's like 10 years old. Why don't you just kill him when he was 10? Get it over with. So SWAT team shows up. They take Aaron downtown, give him the old beat down. And the rest of the cops decide it's time to pay a visit to old Midian. And they head out there. The doctor goes to check on Aaron, see how he's doing, see how bad they beat him. And he seems fine. And the doctor's like, oh, this guy doesn't have a pulse. I'm like, what? They're like, no pulse. What do you mean? I mean, he's fucking dead. They're like, no, he's not. I know he doesn't look like it, but there's no pulse. Like, oh, that's weird. Narcissi picks up Lori, and they go and come to Aaron's rescue. And now it's starting to feel like a late 80s like horror action adventure, like Critters. Or the Phantasm sequels where they're in a car and they're like, all right, let's go. And they're driving around. They get Aaron and they head back to the cemetery because the SWAT team's down there, and now it's time to have a little war. The police have gotten to Midian and they booby-trapped and started burning the whole place down and blowing shit up. So it's time for the citizens of Midian, citizens of under the cemetery of Midian, to start fighting back. The oppressed to fight back against their oppressors. And they do. And some quill-faced chick starts quilling the fuck out of these cops, shooting them just like... Aaron gets in there and opens a hatch that releases these nut-grabbing monsters that hate cops more than America does right now. And they just start fucking those cops up. And one of the old mutes takes Lori and explains to her that he's the one that bit Aaron, because Aaron is the chosen one. Coincidentally, he's the same mute that, by mute I mean mutant monster. He's the same one that rejected old Aaron when he came over the first time. It's like, God, if you knew that the whole fucking time, why'd you keep making him come back? It didn't seem like you bit him because you liked him. It seemed like you bit him because you didn't like him and you wanted him to fucking leave. So, but now he's like trying to be like, yeah, I saw this. He's trying to take credit for the whole fucking thing. Yeah, I knew Aaron was cool. I was the only one that knew that. No, they thought he was a prick. I knew he was cool. Look, I was right. Fuck this guy. Aaron catches up with old Decker, and he chases him. They go toe-to-toe for a while. He ends up escaping and catching them and getting them. They get to the top of this thing, and here this whole time still has that fucking machete sticking out of his chest. Which, didn't he do a car ride? He went in a car ride. How did he sit? I don't know, but he's got it in there. It's in there pretty good. This scene is like not that practical. It just looks cool because like he's got Decker backed up to like the edge, and Decker's like got nowhere to go but down. And instead of like just giving him a push, he kind of just grabs him and like chest fucks him with the machete in his chest. He's like, "Kah!" And then shoves him down. Like, add a little insult to injury. It's like, you're gonna die either way, but I'm gonna chest fuck you first. It's like, yeah, he should have like really just like slapped his face and kept doing it and then shoved him off. But so Decker's dead. And now Aaron has been recognized as the chosen one. Which sucks for him because now he has to rebuild everything. And he's got to, you know, make everything better. And he's no longer Aaron. His new name is Cabal. Which is what the book this movie is based on is called Cabal. I'm assuming it's pronounced Cabal, not Cable. And Laurie wants to stay and help too, but he's like, sorry, you can't. After all they've been through, he's like, bye, Laurie, I have work to do here. And she's like, what the fuck? I love you. I've been here through all this with you. I came here, I saved you. I played a pretty big part in this. You just want to, he's like, well, I'll find you when I'm done. She's like, what? When I'm like 90 and you look the same? Fuck that. He's like, sorry, you can't. You gotta go. And so I think she pulled the machete out of him. And then she does a little Harry Carey, and she's like, well, fuck it. And she's like, I'm going to test your love. And she stabs herself in the fucking abdomen. And he's like, Darth Vader's the, no! He doesn't really do that, but that's what he's thinking. Emotionally, he Darth Vadered a little bit. He's like, shit, because he has one choice now. Now he has to bite her, because that'll heal her. That will heal her, making her immortal too, and then they can be together forever. Which I think he was just afraid of that commitment to begin with. He's like, I don't know. I need a lot from you. I don't know if I want to spend, you know, forever with you. But if I bite you, it's kind of like, well, that's kind of a commitment. That's kind of permanent. But now he's like, I don't want you to die either. Fuck. So he's got a split decision to make. And he bites her. She comes back. And I wish they would have made a sequel to this. Was just them like 500 years later, like sick of each other. Just bickering like old people, but they still look the same. They're just like, I took the garbage out last week. No, they wouldn't talk like that. The end. The Badass Award goes to Laurie for standing by her man and believing in him and constantly rescuing him and just not giving up. What did we learn? Survival tips. Screen your potential psychiatrist thoroughly. Don't slice your face off until you have all the information. Don't let your girl near sharp objects when she's emotional. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. You go through the catalog. There's plenty of other videos you might like too. You can also hit me up on Facebook and see what's going on there. Until then, I guess I will see you next time.